Well, thank you, Dr. Basu-Ray, for joining me today. I'm really excited to speak with you and share a little bit more about your upcoming retreat and workshops here with our guests for Mount Shasta. We're really excited to have you. Um, I want to start out by asking you, I know we've talked about it a few times in different conversations, but I'd love for our audience to hear how you, as a young man, young child, got interested into meditation.
So it started when I was pretty young. And I was interested in the history of the esoteric. When I read about what Buddha did, a bunch of other powerful people did. So, and what I found is that meditation not only gives you spirituality, but gets the Superman out of you. You can do miraculous things. And though the literature is full of those things, I actually wanted to meet people who had these powers. And I did meet a bunch of them. And what I learned is that meditation is the process by which you connect with the universe. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is we are just individuals busy with all our brain busy doing day-to-day tasks. Oh, I need to go to job tomorrow. My boss might not behave right with me. I've got a problem in my house. So our brain, which is a huge brain, the next relative of ours, which is a monkey, orangutan, their brain is like 400 to 800 cc's. An average human brain is 1600 cc's. So why has nature or God or whatever you want to call it has given this huge jump from 800 to 1600, which is twice the size? And the reason is this brain has got the power to do many things than have a normal life, which 99% of us have. But the problem is you have a good car, you have a Tesla, which you can self-drive, but you got to read the manual. Or you can drive your Tesla yourself like a broken Toyota from place A to place B. Nobody's stopping you. So the nature or God, and imagine this, in 100 years of history of cars, we started from the invention of car by Ford to a self-driven Tesla. Now your body, your brain is at least 4 million, some people say even 6 million years old. So if this machine has been working for 6 million years, imagine the power it will have. But the problem is we don't read the manual. We treat our brain just like anything and we drive it like a broken Toyota. So meditation is the process by which not only you understand who you are, you can fix your future, you can do whatever you want to do, at the same time get rid of all these multifarious diseases that stress causes due to our everyday existence. So that is what propelled me. I need to get into the depth of meditation. I need to understand how I can change my brain. And that's where it all started.
Beautiful. What a beautiful analogy, too. Yeah. So as you kind of developed this practice for yourself growing up and getting interested in it, how did the inspiration for you to bring it into Western medicine, did that come as an ongoing inspiration or did it come as a download one day in your meditations? Like, tell me how that kind of developed into your career.
So what is it? To understand that, we have to go back slightly into the history of yoga. So yoga started maybe say 5,000 years old. Yoga started actually older than that. But the yoga was put down into form of writing by Patanjali, which is around 3 to 5,000 years old. Now, it existed hundreds of years before that, and we actually do not know who the originator is. Now, when it was put down in writing, that writing is called the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Now, when you do meditation, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, remember there's 196 aphorism. Out of that aphorism, only 3 aphorism is on asanas. So the common concept in America that bending your neck or bending your leg, and if you can do that for long enough, if you stand on your head for half an hour, you're a great yogi. You're not. If asanas or physical exercise was that important, there would have been 193 aphorisms on physical exercise and on 3 on philosophy. But there are 193 on philosophy and the powers you develop, the miraculous powers you develop. You develop a fantastic memory. you can get whatever you want on this earth, because once you connect with the hardware, you can make changes. Now, let me give you a very simple example. You can get the world's best computer. You can get a brand new Mac, $5,000, $10,000. Can you open up a document? You can't. To open up a document, you need the Microsoft software. So the same with the brain. So you need to have that software to open up. And what is that software? So what has happened is that human beings are given this brain, but we have in the past, say, maybe 1200 years, what happened is in India, if you look at Indian history, there were invasion by Muslim invaders from the Central Asia, hundreds of temples, which were basically the place where discussions used to go on about yoga. And yoga itself was a completely philosophical thing with regular practice of meditation, regular practice of breathing techniques. That slowly got eroded because with like 800 years of Islamic rule, followed by 400 years of British rule, all these got lost. So just like in India, what happened is there was slowly degradation of yoga from a powerful mental breathing exercise to only physical exercise. And when yoga got revived, maybe 200 years back, the first part that got revived was asanas. But these older documents never existed. Why? Because we had a university called Nalanda, which was at that time India's world's Harvard. Nalanda was burned by the Islamic invaders. And it took 7 days to burn. So imagine how big the university must have been. If you try to burn Harvard, it will possibly burn off in a day or two.
Yeah.
So the university was so big, and we have historical records, people coming from China, people coming from Middle East. Remember, zero was discovered in India. All the top mathematicians, they all came because it's a 10,000 years old civilization. Now, with this erosion of knowledge, yoga got converted into a physical exercise. And that is what came to America to a large extent. Though the person who introduced Eastern philosophy to America, Swami Vivekananda, he introduced the entire concepts of the Hindu philosophy. But the problem is the core of Hindu philosophy is very difficult to understand for the common man. Most people believe Hinduism is a religion where there are multiple gods and goddesses. That is not true. The core of Hinduism is called Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta means it's the core of Hinduism. There is no God, there is no goddesses. Because Hinduism says there are multiple and it said this not today, 10,000 years back. There are multiple universes. Every second a universe is created. You cannot have a Shiva, which is a Hindu god, or Jesus, a Christian god, to be the master of the universe. These are great, powerful people, saints, who was born to show us the way. So something that is infinite, the Lord of the infinite, cannot be a finite entity. It doesn't matter how powerful he is. So this is very esoteric. For a common man, it is easy to go to a church, pray to a picture of Jesus, go to a temple, pray to a picture of some Hindu god, go to a mosque. It's much easier to do than think of the infinite. So what has happened is the philosophical part of yoga got constantly eroded till it was almost non-existent. And what was only in existence was the physical part, doing exercise. Now, along with that, another thing happened. Science started looking at yoga to see if it helps mankind. And scientists who are neither Hindus nor from India, were not biased, they did research. They were Hindus, they were Christians, they were Muslims, they were Jews, they were from America, they were from Germany. No clue whatsoever what yoga was. And when they did research, they found yoga is a powerful element to treat all the modern diseases, whether it is heart disease, heart attack, diabetes, cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, name it, mental diseases. So with this understanding, there was an assimilation of science along with yoga. But remember, when you really practice yoga in the full extent, that is mindfulness, meditation, you understand the truth. So, though it was science and AI coming together, that doesn't have to be. If you really practice the real yoga, you will understand the science anyway. So, if Buddha understood that the whole universe is a foaming energy, and what we see as material is just a thicker form of the energy, that's what quantum physics says. And he told that to a common man. The common man in his time will say, this guy is grossly crazy. I can see table, I can see chairs, I can see horses, I can see the moon. What he's talking, that none of this exists? That doesn't make sense. This guy is... So it's not that the people who practice the core of yoga haven't understood the universe, but you have to go beyond not only to understand it, but those things cannot be passed on to the common man in simple words. So today we have quantum physics. Almost all the physicists understand what Hindu philosophy said, say 5,000 years ago, that the world is Maya or virtual.
Yeah.
All these planets that you see, all the table chairs that you see, they are just a form of energy, a condensed form of energy that we are seeing. The actual, everything is a foam, is a sea of probabilities. And that's where meditation comes in. As I said, you need to have the software to open the Microsoft doc. It doesn't mean you could be a $10,000, $50,000 computer. It will not open a document until you have Microsoft Word. It will not open Adobe file until you download Adobe. So until you practice meditation and get the software to connect with the universe in its actual form, because 1600 cc of brain is busy. What my son is doing tomorrow, is he doing the appropriate thing? My partner has got a problem, I need to take care of it. My colleague got a promotion, though I'm better than him, but I did not get. So when my 1600 cc brain is busy with these things, there is no place for God or spirituality or getting that extra power. But once you get that extra power, you have downloaded the software. So the practice of meditation is downloading the software to connect to the universe. Once you connect to the universe is part of you. You are part of the universe. So so when you're part of the universe, you can get whatever you want to, of course, if I want to do bad things, that is not possible, because that will come with a reaction to me too, because the whole universe is one. You and I are not two different beings, it's one single being. We are seen as different beings because we are in the gross earth. Earth is a gross material part of the universe. That's why we are seeing two different beings. But if you want a good thing, if I want a good thing on you, if I want a good thing on myself, I want to make more money. If I want to stay healthy, I can do it. Because once I connect with the software, my wishes can be transformed into reality. And that's how I came to understand that we need to not only, there are hundreds and thousands of meditation practitioners who just teach like dumb things like rituals. Why would I be doing rituals? Meditation and science is not ritualistic. It has to follow logic. Yes, there are certain things that we have still not discovered, and it might take 200 years. There was nothing below the ocean 200 years back when 2000 Leagues Under the Sea was written. But now we have thousands of submarines under the ocean. Nobody went to the moon when he wrote the book about people going to the moon. It was a science fiction. Now we have almost every 5-6 countries have gone to the moon. US is trying to start a timer on the moon. So the question is, science will of course develop and can catch up. That doesn't mean what is non-scientific today will remain non-scientific in the future. But what is important to understand is everything that you do in meditation is completely scientific. It's training your brain to get that software so that you understand what you are. And as soon as you understand that, you also get the power to change events in your life the way you like on a positive scale.
Amazing. As you're talking, I'm thinking about growing up. My father had a meditation practice, and he meditated for 2.5 hours, up to 3 hours every single day. And I could always tell when he was meditating in the house, because I just felt like this, when I was a kid, you don't know how to describe it besides this feeling of like gold sparkle everywhere. So I always knew when he was doing it. And I would love to hear you speak to like kind of the exponential power of how we can affect others when we're in a meditative state. A lot of people use Reiki and meditation to, meditate for world peace, but I want to hear what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, so meditation is extremely powerful. You can completely change events not only where you are but around you, including your family and the space. There was a trial by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi where I think it's there in Google too. They took 10,000 meditators to Washington and all of them meditated. In that period of time, there was a sudden fall of all the criminal activities, whether it was murder, whether it was rape, whether it was car burglary in Washington, and nobody had an explanation why. We still don't have an explanation. So, but there are tons of research which show prayer, meditation changes reality. You can bend the reality on a positive scale when you want it. Like as I said, when you have 10,000 meditators, there must be something that you change. Maybe in this form of infinite quantum juggling, maybe you make changes so that this nasty things, bad things stop happening. And that's why people say they are sitting down in mass scale for world peace. We do not know the science. We do not know how it happens, but there has been tons of studies on prayer, on meditation, where focused meditation or when a huge group of people meditated, there was change in the environment. Even in the family, you start meditation, you see kids become more intelligent, they do a better job, and the families where there have been problems before, they settle down. The understanding is that at the deeper level, we are all connected, but at the physical level, we are not. So at the physical level, we are ruled by emotion. So for some reason, I don't like you. So all my brain, all my kidney, my heart, everything is tuned not to like you. So even if you say nice things, I'll hate you. But when I start connecting with you, that you and I are one, the whole universe is one, the interaction goes to a completely different paradigm. I mean, how can even the worst guy is narcissist to the extent that he cannot hate himself. So I can hate you, but I can't hate myself. But when I come to know that you don't even exist, I don't even exist, we are all one, how can I hate myself? So I think it's a paradigm change in understanding the reality. That's why Hindu philosophy says it's Maya, it's virtual reality. What you're seeing is not the truth. It's limited truth. So you got to open your eyes and the five senses to see the real truth of the universe. And then you understand how frivolously we fight, we compete. Oh, Lauren got a promotion, I don't have. Oh, Lauren is more intelligent than me. Oh, she's got a bigger car than me. These are all meaningless things. These have no role in life at all because we are all one. So that's how, so as you said, your father did. I think absolutely. And I can see the effect I didn't know what effect it had on you at that time, but I can see the effect now. You are into meditation, you are into doing the retreats for people so that they get meditation, they understand the real meditation. So, I mean, I think he may have even changed your DNA. There are some studies, though I'm not sure how we need more studies that meditation can actually even change your DNA. There's something called the CTRA, which is over 300 genes. Which gets activated when you have sad things like somebody dies in your house, you have economic downturn, there's a war going on. But meditation can switch off these bad genes. These genes get switched off when you're in trouble, get bad genes. Then Elizabeth Blackburn, who got Nobel Prize in 2009 for telomerase, actually they showed that meditation decreases aging. So you'll be 90, if you practice meditation for 10, 15 years, you may be 90 years old, but you have a body of 60, 65.
Because it lengthens the telomeres, is that right?
Right, decreases telomeres. So when you, because it increases telomeres, the cell aging decreases. But other than cell aging, the decreases of the entire human. There are multiple people, gurus, who have been in the Himalayas, who can climb up mountains at 90 years of age. Because, see, it's like a car. I get back to that because it's easy for people to understand. You take a car, you might have driven 200,000 miles. But if you've taken care of it, you've made sure you change oil and everything, the car will still work. I mean, there are people with car driven for like 30 or 40,000 miles. It's a total wreck. So you have to understand that human body is just a machine that our soul uses to pass through this universe. If you abuse it, if you've been having negative thoughts all the time, if you've been indulging in drugs, other addictions, so you're abusing your physical body. If you abuse your physical body, it will not last. But if you take care of your physical body, you practice meditation, you do regular exercise, you eat the right type of food, you will be 90. And now there's actually another research which actually shows that you can grow your brain. Sarah did a research in 2010 published from Mass General, which showed that your brain can increase by 1 inch if you practice meditation for 5 years. And now we know that there are over 30-35% population in this country over 80, 85, 90 years of age who are languishing in nursing homes. They don't know their name, they don't know who their son is, daughter is, where their house is because of dementia. But if you practice meditation, you can make your brain grow. This is landmark difference. Why? Because till 20 years back, we thought that the brain never grew. Brain grows till you're 20, 25, 30, then it stops growing. But now we know even at 85, your brain can grow if you practice meditation. So you'll never ever get dementia. So it's important to understand that. It's like taking care of your body like a car. If you take care of it, it will pay you back. If you abuse it by having negative thoughts, doing negative things, fighting with people, always being abusive, whether in your family or outside, or taking to drugs, alcohol, the results will be pretty obvious.
You know, and I remember reading about that, about the brain can actually like regenerate and grow. That's new research for all of us. And it's also above and beyond, you know, just retraining the brain and the neural pathways. That's like an additional level of new brain research that we've come across the last few years.
That's absolutely true. So what we do know is, other than growing, so other than that paper that I talked about from General, we have over 100, 150 papers which show brain can grow on meditation. Different areas of the brain can grow. But it's not only growth, because growth will prevent you from dementia. But what about the fact that I'm always anxious? I'm always hateful. I have a drug addiction. The problem is anxiety, stress is as bad addiction as alcohol. Or even having sweets. You're diabetic, you're having sweet. Sweet is as bad as alcohol. But the problem is it does not sound like alcohol, so people don't think it's an addiction. But how do I change this? That's again where meditation comes. Meditation can cause what is called neuroplasticity. It will change your brain pathways. Like I see the yellow in your background, that might get me anxious. And but I'm not supposed to. There's nothing there that should cause anxiety in me. But if my brain is trained in that way, remember, brain is an organ, how you train it. If you train your brain to be anxious on everything, you will be anxious, because life is never smooth. Even gods were born on earth, even they didn't have a smooth life. Jesus Christ didn't have a smooth life. And a lot of people didn't have a smooth life. So the question is that anybody born in this material plane will never have a smooth life. The question is, how can you tackle that without falling prey to it, being sick out of it? That's the secret. So what brain does on meditation, it changes your brain completely, so that those circuits which are activated normally makes you anxious, makes you stressful, those circuits stops getting activated as you practice meditation.
Wow. Now, I know that this is going to be kind of the central to your retreat, but for people who are listening and getting fascinated by this and may not have had any experience with meditation, what would be some good like beginners tips if they wanted to try and experiment getting into this flow?
Yeah. So what we do in meditation is totally different from, say, some monk teaching you meditation and stuff like that, because that's the way I learned meditation also. My guru lineage is one of the most powerful lineages. So my lineage starts with what's called Kriya Yoga, starts with Mahavatar Babaji. His disciple was somebody called Lahiri Mahashaya, whose disciple was Yukteswar Giri. Swami Yukteswar Giri's disciple was Paramahansa Yogananda, who, as you know, is the founder of the SRF. I don't know how many of your audience will know, but Steve Jobs had one book in his iPad all his life, and that's the book by Sri Paramahansa Yogananda called
Really?
Autobiography of a Yogi.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, one book, only one book. Not only that, he said every year he read the book and it gave him a different understanding.
Okay.
So much so that everybody at his funeral, and if I'm not mistaken, even Obama, I think, attended it, who was at that time the president, was given a copy of the book. But everybody who attended his funeral was given a copy of the book. So my guru is the brother disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda, Hariharananda Giri. So we come from a powerful tradition. Okay, we don't say, okay, I feel good doing meditation, so you should do meditation. No. What we say is, tread the path. If it benefits you, stay there. If it doesn't benefit, don't do it. Because that is the ultimate democracy. I want to test it by my own. And how do we do this? What we do in our workshop, why is it totally different? We don't tell people, okay, like there are a lot of this Buddhist and meditators, they'll say, oh, I did meditation for 30 years, it feels good, so you should do it. No. What is the science behind it? And as I said, in Hinduism, there was complete science, which got lost in between, but now it's coming back. So the science is that it changes your brain waves. So we will teach what are the different brain waves and how you can change it. Like I'm talking to you, a part of my brain can meditate. I can still be in, say, alpha wave or delta wave. Most people, 99% of people, when they awake, they're in beta waves, which causes stress.
Yes.
I don't want beta waves in my brain. I want alpha waves. I want even slower waves.
Yes.
I practice meditation and I'll send you the screen. I start meditation, I get bunch of gamma waves, and I'll send you the screen of that. So this gamma waves doesn't come in normal people. According to Roger Davidson, who has a $5 million lab in Wisconsin, and he has put EEG on everybody. I think he even did it on Dalai Lama, but certainly on monks who have done meditation for 20, 25 years, he saw gamma waves in them. What is gamma wave? Initially, they thought it was an artifact because it was not known there was any wave called gamma wave. Then they found there's a regular finding in deep meditators. Why? Because you understand the level, as I said, that's the software. You go to the next paradigm of understanding. Gamma wave is supposed to be is believed to be, nothing is proved. If you prove it, you'll get a Nobel Prize. It's believed to be the basic wave for consciousness. So what you're trying to do is you're getting your brain that powerful enough that you're getting into the medley of consciousness that universe created, of which you are a part also.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Instead of getting busy with how my bank is doing, how my son is doing, and the problem is these are real problems in life. Nobody's saying minimize them.
Yeah.
Problem with human is we ruminate on them. If I go on ruminating that I've got all this problem 24/7, will my problem be less? No. So meditation is not meant to bypass this, minimize this, not take care of. No, your duty on earth is to take care of. That's the first thing. But don't ruminate over it. Don't make your brain a slave to your problems. Your brain, you're the master of your brain. But most of the time we are slaves to our brain. Oh, I'm ruminating the problem over and over and over again. No. Take care of the problem, deal with it, finish it off. And when you practice meditation, you'll get the power to change events the way you like. That's even one level higher. And that's where you need to reach. So what we do is we teach different breathing techniques and which will increase beta alpha waves, go into deeper waves. We'll teach techniques by which you can go into deeper meditation. So this basic thing would be that there are 3 or 4 different aspects which we do, which nobody else does. Number 1, we'll bring in the science. For example, all the diseases, 45% of Earth population have high blood pressure. Certainly, if you're a CEO, if you're running your family, there's tons of stress, normal. People have lost their jobs, people have cancer, diabetes. So how to prevent that? Because medicine doesn't cure diabetes. Medicine doesn't cure hypertension. They just control them. But you can cure these things by practice of meditation, by changing your physiology. So we teach that. Other than that, as I said, when you learn meditation also makes you younger. So you're more likely to get cancer if you're 60, 65, 70 than when you're 40. Nobody gets cancer when they're 40. Young children get cancer when they are kids, then they grow out of it. But if you are 65, 70 and you're still 40 years old as a machine, you're not going to get cancer. You'll never ever get cancer. You'll never ever get diabetes. You'll never ever get hypertension. You'll never ever get stroke. So that's the disease part of it. But the disease part of it is very, very important but minimal. You get the power to change your brain to delineate your own future. You go to the paradigm next where you can make the universe decide. Not the universe decide, you decide, because you yourself is part of the universe. All you need is the key, and we'll give you the key, we'll teach you the key, so you can open the lock so that you can decide what is going to be your own future. And that's how God or nature has made it, because you're part of it. And that's what we will teach. So we will teach meditation techniques, how to do it. We'll teach techniques for doing breathing. We'll teach certain yoga techniques to keep yourself healthy. Yoga techniques are also needed to help in meditation. So the question is, why then do it in a workshop? The reason is, I can tell you to do a physical exercise, you will do it. As long as you do it, you get it. But the same is not true for meditation. Meditation needs trained workshop because there are certain powers that I can pass on to people because I've meditated for so many years. That's why every successful meditation requires multiple repeated. So we do train the brain course, then we do advanced train the brain course. Plus those who have not done meditation, we do special courses for them before we put them into advanced train the brain course. Then we do, these are all weekend courses, then we do 7-day courses. And the people who are trained enough, we also do 1-month course. Because that's how you get into the groove, you keep yourself in the groove. I'm talking, I'm still meditating. I'm walking my dog, I'm still meditating. And that's important. 24/7 you can be meditating. So those are the things that we will also teach, how to concentrate on your breath and keep your meditation. Because the moment you do that, if I do EEG on your brain, you may be walking the dog, but there's still alpha waves or even deeper waves, theta, delta inside your brain. So instead of ruminating over what's going to happen tomorrow in your job, which is going to release dangerous chemicals in your body like interleukin-6, TNF alpha, leading to heart disease, cancer, you're a completely controlled being who's doing exactly what he needs to do. So instead of promoting and causing disease every second of our life, we, number one, have a powerful brain, which can let us do whatever we want. Number two, we are completely stopping the entire vicious cycle that leads us to have so many diseases, that leads us to have addiction. So that's how we are going to do our workshop on a complete scientific basis.
Absolutely. I would love to hear you speak a little bit more on the brainwave stuff. My background is in some healing arts. It's a physical modality. It's similar to chiropractic, but it's not. And it's a physical and spiritual process of balancing the brain so that we reach the alpha state. And I'm curious, for me, like how to connect meditation. Like if you're in gamma for your set meditation for the day, does that allow you to be in alpha more like consistently? Because that's the most relaxed that we can be in a conscious waking state, correct?
Actually, no. The reason is alpha is the first step. There are people who remain in delta. Normal people get delta wave when they're in deep sleep, stage 4 REM sleep. But awake meditators have been in delta waves and even in theta waves. So alpha is the beginning. You need to be in alpha 24/7, not beta. And then you'll go into slower waves called theta or delta. And there are tons of people who can be in delta wave predominantly even when they're awake.
Really? That's what I'm wondering. Okay. Fascinating.
Though a normal person who has never meditated, for them delta waves only come in deep, deep sleep called the REM sleep, which is around 1/4 of the night sleep that we all have.
Yeah.
And if your sleep is not full, then you actually will not have REM sleep. So you will always feel tired despite sleeping for whatever 8-9 hours. And that's why we also teach during meditation how to go into sleep. People who have insomnia and those who don't have insomnia, how to get into deep sleep.
Mm-hmm.
What are the techniques we use to go?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that we generally show them. Now, so answering your question, yeah, alpha is the basic stuff, but there are deeper stuff, and there are certain poses that you do that will get you alpha immediately, which you're going to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you practice, you get into deeper stages. Gamma is even faster than high and beta, but that's a state that takes generally years of practice, and then you get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I've always learned that alpha, being in the alpha state, is the gateway to the really the gateway to your consciousness and to higher power in your neocortex in the brain. Gamma, even though if it takes longer for us to get there, or delta or theta, like you're saying, what would be the most recommended or beneficial brainwave state to be in like normal daily life where we do have access to our higher power?
Normal daily life, most people should be in alpha if possible. Most of the other brain state, it's difficult to do unless you're a practice meditators for many years. But you can do it. So alpha wave is good enough. Sometimes you can still have beta waves, which is not bad, but beta waves which is associated with stress is bad.
Stress response, yeah. And then we should go right automatically back out of it. We need it for fight or flight, and then we should come right back out. But what most people do is they get stuck in that beta, and then that starts to back the brain for always being in survival mode.
Exactly. So that is what we need to change. So even if you get beta waves off and on, doesn't matter, because it's not the beta wave, beta wave is just one of the manifestations. Along with beta waves, you're getting release of all this dangerous hormones which are killing your body, killing your brain. That needs to be stopped, that entire vicious cycle. And as you correctly said, it becomes a vicious cycle. This causes more beta waves, more stress. And when you continue to have it, it gets ingrained in your genes. And the CTR genes get activated like for every damn thing. I mean, you're jealous because your next door neighbor has a bigger house, and you get the response, fight or flight response. Is he a dinosaur going to eat you? No.
Yeah.
The problem is we are a 6 million year old organism. We have that response. That's the only response we have. We don't have any response other than the cortical brain, which understands these nuances. The rest of the body does not understand jealousy, does not understand competitiveness. All that it understands is, am I safe or am I in danger? Now, I'm going to give an examination. That's called a eustress. You're stressed out, you give the examination, you're done. That's a positive stress. That amount of stress actually helps you to get better. But if somebody dies in my family and I'm constantly thinking even 2 years after that, that is called, that's a survival. I've pushed what is a normal event in a people. I mean, nobody's going to live forever. So you have some death in your family, you're sad for maybe 10 days, 11 days, 1 month. You remember about him or her once a year, and you're stressed out, and it's normal. But if you're constantly stressed out that you lost your mother for 2 years, 3 years, then that's a disease. That's no more normal. So that and that beta becomes a signature for survival, fight or flight. So the fight or flight response has to be completely gone, because we don't live in caves. When we get up in the morning, we are not faced with a saber-toothed tiger or a big anaconda trying to come in. We live in houses. We live in civilized society. So there's no need, if I get stuck trying to go to my office in my car because of traffic jam, I should not get a survival mode signature in my body, causing a bunch of damages and diseases. I should be able, it's a truth that is happening, I should be treating it accordingly. So this survival mechanism that we developed because we lived in jungle for so many years along with we are basically animals. Only difference is that we are more powerful than other animals. Doesn't need to stay. So that's the thing we need to teach our entire body, particularly our brain, because that is the one which takes us to those stages, that sort of existence.
Yeah. You know, you reminded me, I just picked up this book. It was recommended to me by a friend of mine, actually my own personal coach. It's called Waking the Tiger. And it's about healing trauma. And it goes through, I've just started it, but it basically goes through how animals in nature, they don't get stuck in that fight or flight or survival. Like what is it about us as humans that we, ruminate and get stuck in that stress and survival mode? It's really fascinating.
Absolutely. We are actually planning to get a couple of books out on this for the common man so that they understand what we did. But we will be putting up things in our website about meditation, everything that I said, so that people can go through them and understand what we are going to do, how we are different. And you're right. Everybody has seen National Geographic and other. You see a deer being chased by a leopard. The deer runs, and beats the leopard, and then the leopard goes away. And then what is the bear doing? It's just strolling around and eating grass.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, we are constantly being chased by either leopards or dinosaurs. Even we are sitting in our house watching TV, doing nothing. And remember, if I want to go to Hawaii, I don't go to Hawaii. I sit in my house and see night pictures of Hawaii. My brain will behave in the same way as if I am in Hawaii. So if your brain imagines, fantasizes you're being chased by a leopard, that's exactly what the body will do. You will have these hormones released. You will have your heart going fast. 300,000 people just die suddenly in this country. Why? Because the heart goes fast and they kill themselves. So that's very important to understand. What your brain does or what your body does is not important. What your brain thinks it's doing is important. And that's where you need to intervene. And that's where meditation plays a role, by making the brain do what you need and not you do what the brain thinks it needs to do.
Absolutely. Well, this has been fascinating speaking with you about this. I could talk to you for hours, I'm sure. But I do want to touch on one of my questions, and you kind of just brought it up, but do you have a book in your future that you're going to write?
Yeah, we are writing a book. First of all, we are writing a book on how to prevent heart diseases by yoga, just 30-day program to catch hold of all the heart diseases, diabetes, hypertension, heart attacks.
Mm-hmm.
We are also working on a book about meditation. What meditation? It's called Transcendence. How will you transcend from a simple animal, which all of us are, to a human being and to so-called God? God is not somebody with just superpowers. You can be God too, sitting here on the earth. All that you need to do is change your brain, enter that lock, get the key for that lock where you enter the universe, which you're actually a part of, but you're under the delusion that you're a common, simple human being and you don't have all those powers. You do have those powers, but you have to rediscover them, open up the keys.
Yeah.
So that book will be what to practice, how to go into deep meditation. It will going to be a book exclusively so that people can read it, understand both the science as well as the art of meditating to reach the next stage of existence, the next paradigm. So it's going to be a paradigm shift in people's life when they read that book.
Amazing. Yeah. And my mission with doing these retreats is supporting and giving containers for retreats for people who are pushing that envelope. So that's brilliant to hear that. Thank you for being with me here today. I'm really excited to have you here in Mount Shasta. I've got a number of people that are really excited. For those listening, I will post the links to everything down below. We have a number of lodging options, and we have a locals option, or if you want to book your own hotels. But we're really excited to have Dr. Basu-Ray here, and to the first retreat of many. So I look forward to working with you even further into the future.
Thank you very much. Really, thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward to, and everybody who comes there is going to be changing their life. They are going to be more powerful. They'll know what they want to do. They can change their future. They can create events in their life, and they're going to be a bunch of healthy people who can even control their disease if they have one, or prevent diseases, number two, and certainly get more younger. And that's a guarantee as long as they continue practice what I teach them.
Interesting.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you very much. Yeah. Bye-bye.